Oh, hello. It's still me, Trevor, racism detective. You can tell I'm a real detective because I'm wearing a funny hat and I have a magnifying glass for, like, burning ants or whatever people use that for. So, now that I have all my gear, it's time to investigate whether Congressman Steve King is actually a racist. And here's our first clue. A clip of Steve King in 2013 saying disparaging things about Mexican immigrants.
They aren't all valedictorians. They weren't all brought in by their parents. For everyone who's a valedictorian, there's another 100 out there that they weigh 130 pounds and they've got calves the size of cantaloupes because they're hauling 75 pounds of marijuana across the desert.
Okay, that's like the weirdest math problem I've ever heard. If Jose is 130 pounds and he's hauling 75 pounds of marijuana, his calves would be the size of what fruit? Like, the weirdest part of this one is that King isn't even working off existing stereotypes. He's just making up new ones that don't exist. Mexicans have cantaloupe calves? You can't even tell if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Even Mexicans are like, thank you? I mean, I have been getting my steps in. So the first clue is racist seeming. But on the other hand, cantaloupe isn't a racist fruit. Like, if he really wanted to be racist, he could have said bananas or watermelon. You know, classic racist fruits. So we still need more proof. And look, what's this? It's another clue.
When you talked about Muslims working in your pork plants and say, I don't want Muslims working in my pork plant because they need extra explanation.
But I didn't say that.
What did you say?
Chris, you got to have a sense of humor
here's
here.
Here's the soundbite.
The rationale is that if infidels that are eating this pork, they're not eating it. So as long as they're preparing this pork for infidels, it helps send them to hell, and it must make Allah happy.
Jeez.
I don't want people doing my pork that won't eat it.
Fair enough.
Damn. So Steve King says he doesn't want Muslims working in pork factories because he thinks it makes them happy to feed the rest of us pork because it'll send us to hell. So in his mind, there are some Muslims who hate everyone else so much, they're like, I want to destroy these infidels. Let's blow them up. No, too easy. Let's open a pork shop. Feed them delicious bacon and watch them enjoy themselves for many years until they die naturally, and then go to hell. Bacon grease, bacon grease. So he said Mexicans are drug mules with cantaloupe calves, and Muslims are trying to damn our souls with pork. But I don't know. Does that mean he's racist? Or is he just hungry? Without more clues, we can never know. Unless there's a third clue.
This Western civilization still is a superior civilization. You cannot rebuild your civilization with somebody else's babies. You've got to keep your birth rate up.
God damn it, that was so racist it burned my lungs. You can't rebuild a civilization with someone else's babies? I mean, on the one hand, he's right. Babies are terrible at building stuff. Have you ever given a baby a power tool? I have. That's why I'm not allowed near daycare centers anymore. But what King is actually saying is that minority babies could never be American. Only white babies can truly be American. I assume they're taught how to become American by their Filipino nannies. So we got 3 clues. But it still doesn't feel like we have enough to know for sure that Steve King is racist. If only he had said something else, something really, really explicitly racist. Like this.
Go back through history and figure out where are these contributions that have been made by these other categories of people that you're talking about. Where did any other subgroup of people contribute more to civilization?
Than white people?
Than Western civilization itself, that's rooted in Western Europe, Eastern Europe, and the United States of America, and every place where the footprint of Christianity settled the world. That's all of Western civilization.
Oh man, Steve King actually has a good point here, folks. Other cultures haven't really contributed anything to human civilization. I mean, the paper in front of him was invented in China, but that doesn't count. Who's ever used paper? And the numbers on that sign behind him, India came up with those, but I mean... And the Christianity he just mentioned, obviously that came from the Middle East. So that's 3 things that non-white cultures contributed to humanity. But I mean, who's counting other than the Indians? So...